welcome to this very, very special edition of the Bearded Beer Pod with me, G. So, followers of the podcast Instagram and also the blog Instagram will know that I did a little poll recently about what brewery would you like to see in a brewery special, and you guys chose Overtone, which is it's a no-brainer, isn't it? There are good lads over at Overtone. So I did a bit of research and I've got 8 pages of notes for you today, so it's going to be a bit of an epic, but we'll see how we go. So let's just sit back and enjoy Overtone. So according to the Overtone website, Overtone Brewing Company produce hop-forward craft beers with an emphasis on quality and waves of flavour. Nice. So they were founded in 2018, and their adventure started with one very determined young man wanting to make his dream a reality, going from home brewer to a brewery owner. Bobby Wang created this playground for all of us to enjoy, as he wants to get people together to enjoy the love of craft beer, and that's a bloody fair one. The same love of beer brought the 2 other members of the team together from 2 corners of the world, New Hampshire in the States and New Zealand. And they had one common interest: craft beer. Overtone's head brewer, Daniel Miller, he came all the way from New Hampshire in the US, and he brings American style beers to Glasgow. He uses the best quality ingredients like the Vermont yeast to give us the best results that New England would approve of. Alongside that, Overtone aims to be a fully fluid brewery with no core range. That gives a sort of total flexibility to brew beers that they're excited and passionate about, and you definitely don't see the same beers over and over again with Overtone, which is great for an idiot like me who just necks a different beer every week. Overtone seem to thrive in creating beers that are sort of bursting with flavour from nothing more than hops, malts and yeast, no flavouring or juice, and they make the beers from all natural products. Overtone's principles are simple. They brew only the freshest, flavoursome, quality beers. They're always going to try something new and exciting things to push the boat out and continue playing around with new ingredients to bring new and exciting beers to the market. Now, the Overtone branding is always interesting because they've always got the circle logos, haven't they, on the labels. Always wondered what that's all about. Well, it's all part of the innovation at the heart of Overtone's ambition. They wanted to bring a dynamic brewing brand to Scotland, but as it was a completely new brewery and the 3rd most innovative craft brewery market in the world in Scotland, it needed to strike a balance between dynamism and building a strong brand presence to succeed. So they turned to a drinks branding company called Thirst. They're branding and strategy specialists who know the craft beer category at the back of a Camden Hells can. With bottle shop shelves looking increasingly like an eclectic art gallery, Thirst needed to ensure that Overtone made an immediate and sustainable impact without sacrificing creativity. Inspired by the founder's favourite music scene, techno, they created a brand that captured the cutting-edge graphics and cult status of iconic record labels. So there you go. An extended wordmark and strong O device created an impactful and ownable brand which would look at home on an underground club poster. You can really see that, can't you? The patterns themselves are inspired by Overtone's name. Overtones are frequencies that alter the qualities of a sound. So Thirst translated this into an idea of visuals by using lines and colours to create illusions that change the qualities of the label in front of your eyes. These patterns tied in with the styles of beer as well as creating a piece of art on the shelf. These designs are as pragmatic as they are powerful. They've got infinite patterns possible, and they can be turned around like that really fast. Overtone able to continue their innovative brewing while keeping their brands strong and their labels fresh over and over again. Okay, enough with the serious stuff. Yeah, that was like 2 pages of notes I just read through there. Aye, so we're on to the reviews now. So these go back, way back to the start of 2020, I believe. When it wasn't my first Overtone, I don't think. Certainly the first one that I actually reviewed, and that was the legendary New England IPA Ouija. Uh, very basic notes back then before I'd sort of hit my stride and got my brand, as it were, as a really shitty blogger. So this one basically reads another cracker from Overtone with the Luigi New England IPA. Lovely woody and mango taste. Hilarious. I gave that a 4.75 on Untapped. After that, cheek touchingly bitter going out west. Uh, Not as hoppy as I expected, but it was a stone cold killer double IPA nonetheless, and that was a solid 4. We've got Yaldi, and that was a lovely oaty New England IPA, and it was super refreshing, and that was a 4. And then there's a wee dreadful one. Well, no, that's not fair. Not a dreadful one. It just wasn't up to the last sort of 3 that it had from Overtone. I've said here they're usually amazing, but they're well delivered New England IPA. It was a slight misnomer in my eyes. It was a bit yeasty and light for my palate, but it went down fine. And I sort of gave that a middle of the road 3.5. More to my style was their tribute New England IPA. It was smooth but bitter. Love the opaqueness to it. They only bloody did it again, didn't they? Interestingly, it was renamed later on to the beer formerly known as ... And I believe I gave that 3.75 on Untapped. So we all know what happened in 2020, and the least said about that, the better. It was a shit time for everybody, wasn't it? But, oh, Overtone, you jokers. This one was called Stay the Fuck at Home. I would happily have stayed the fuck at home if I could have drank that hazy IPA all the time. It was sharp, it was juicy, and most of all, instructional. And that was a 4 bang in the nose. Oh, my first oath for an Overtone. This was for No You Didn't. It was a New England IPA, an absolute belter. It was just beyond description. Basically, it said Jings, and I gave that 4.25. Now this New England IPA Citra and Mosaic must have been on a Friday, because I've described it as a perfect start to the weekend. It's wonderfully fresh, quite understated, and smoothly hopped, and that was a 4. So it's a beer that's named after the noise you say when you drink it. And that was oft. I certainly did that when I drank that bad boy. What a beast. It was a triple IPA, and it was a solid 5 out of 5. I think that's one of the best Overtones that I've had. 5 out of 5 and Untapped. Unfortunately, with every light comes the dark. Oh dear. I do believe, well, certainly in my opinion, Overtone dropped the ball on this one. It's called Wit, man. Sour as hell. It was billed as a Belgian ale, but no, it was a no from me. And I had to edit this one, and it was actually the first beer I've ever poured down the sink. I think this was the Blood Orange one. I haven't mentioned that, but it certainly rings a bell as a Blood Orange one, and it was just, I didn't like it at all. I'm not a fan of sours. I mean, I suppose other people like it, but I gave this 1.5. Yep, that's one of the lowest scores I've ever given a beer. Certainly the lowest I've ever given an Overtone. Northern Hemisphere, set a 2 from Overtone. This one was a Fabby IPA. Really well hopped, a brilliant beer. Knock it out of the park yet again. That was 4.5 on Untapped. Which leads me straight on to its sister beer, Southern Hemisphere. Oh, your God. Class in a glass. Yet another killer beer. They should be like beer ambassadors to the world with this pair, Northern and Southern Hemisphere. And I give that 4.5 as well. Now, regular listeners will know that I reviewed Opaque Dankness again in July. In July. This is the original review from way back when. Basically, it's no secret that Overtone, one of my favourite brewers, Opaque Dankness really hit my B spot. Really subtle, but really good. And I gave it a 4.5 back then, as I did the other day. I bought Vicky's Pet Unicorn because my younger daughter is daft. Well, she was daft in unicorns. She's 13 now. If I say she's daft in unicorns now, she'll probably headbutt me. This was a hazy New England IPA. Had a great smell, great initial taste, but I got a kind of weird plasticky aftertaste, which I thought was a real shame because the initial flavour was spot on. Liked it, but then that weird, it was like licking the inside of an ice cream tub, if you know what I mean. Sadly, that reflected in the score I gave for that and Untapped, which was 3.25. So we jump months to my next Overtone. And what was it called? Man, can I say this? Churcuz. Yeah, Churcuz. The lovely wee drinky poo. It was Fan Dabby Dozy. I can't actually remember what that was. Oh, yeah, it was nice though. 4.25 on Untapped. We all like an eat bush, and Hedge Trimmer New England IPA is a kind of bitter but nutty beer. It doesn't make you go like you've got something between your teeth. Hearty wink. And that was 4.25. And a wee slick segue from another shitty ident thing. Elementary was an IPA. Impressively understated. An absolute pleasure to have in your mouth. Had a kind of tangy, bitter aftertaste. Sounds like my penis. And that was 4. Shit the bed. Last bus to Yoker. Triple New England IPA. Yeah, Overtone knocked it out of the park yet again with this. Thicker than Nicki Minaj after a solid month on leg day and a citrusy aftertaste. Like that bit in American History X with the curb. That was a really strong 4.75. First thing first with this next beer. What a smell when you open the can of Fracture. There's a collab with Bleed From Within, the band. Slightly more tart double IPA than the normal from Overtone, but they certainly did not let themselves down with this. 3.75 for one reason. I don't know why I gave them that, because I remember liking it. Hey, Untapped never lies. Moving into the monster territory, and I think it was a good job I was off the next day with this. Explosions in the Cry, a proper wolf in sheep's clothing. It was 11%, but you could easily drink a couple of them and not notice until your eyes went numb. Yeah, it was sneaky. It really crept up on you. Solid 4.5 and Untapped for this bad boy. And again, another leap forward a few months in between Overtones. I hadn't had an Overtone for ages by this point, and I got my hands on Finger Guns. Pew pew. See what I did there? Made the taste buds feel like how I imagine Kurt Cobain's were feeling on the 5th of April 1994. Mucho Strongo I've put here. And developing a trend with the 4.5s. I started a new job 2 years ago, and this was 2 weeks into my new job, and I guess it fit the bill for the day. It was called Chuffed. It's double IPA. Yeah, fits the bill nicely, it says here. Hopping on the Kangaroo's Ghoulies, but I think it could have been a little bit fizzier. It was a wee bit flat on the pour for my liking. So then, yeah, it was knocked down a little bit for that, but it was still 4 bang in the nose. Saturday Night Swally, courtesy of Overtone. If this pale ale was a bird, I'd let it know it had a smashing blouse on. 4.25 on Untapped. Triple IPA time with an absolute nut kicker. Crystal Ball, tasty as flub. Tiny little bit sweet for my liking, but I drank it and got all tipsy and suggestible anyway. I am not a monster. 3.75. I think I knocked that down for the sweetness. I don't really like the sweet beers. Yeah, bring that one back out, lads, but knock down the sugar. Yeah, there we go, that'd be good. A honey double IPA, you see. Well, I couldn't taste it, but I'm a troglodyte. I never turn my nose up and over to and brew. Nelson, I'm home. It was light and it was a little sweet. Bit like Rebel out of AEW, who I absolutely have the hots for. That was 4.25. Another IPA named after me, Suave. Something different. Kind of tasted nutty or mushroomy to me. But yeah, another kicker for one of the best Scottish breweries around. 4.25 on Untapped. Now, proper bad man's ginger up next, Emerald Shore. Clocks in at 11% and crucially doesn't taste like it. A triple IPA with a dirty secret and no mistake. 4 on Untapped. I'm surprised I didn't give that more, to be honest. Untapped never lies yet again. Overtone to the rescue with their New Zealand Pale Ale. The Bruce, love the colour of it, and it starts off delicate before howking harder on your taste buds than Chris Statlander and her knickers on that episode of AEW. You remember that now? Oh shit. She gave herself a wedgie and howked her knickers out her arse. Oh jeez, that was in the bank for weeks, I tell you that. That was a solid 4 on Untapped. So I made the mistake of having 2 10% triple IPAs in one night, and I was absolutely fucking pie-eyed. Night at the Disco, from those bastards at Overtone, had me really ganting for a kebab and a wee dance. Sweetness and lightness hid its strength, and yeah, it just reminded me how old I was getting. Knocking me for 6 with a 4.5. Yeah. Comet Glow, dank monster of an IPA. Kind of the beer version of French kissing Shaggy off Scooby Doo, I think. 4.5 yet again. Interesting one here. I had a video edition for Michael McIntyre's The Wheel on the evening I took this. I had this. I was seen to be cutting shapes during the audition, so this mango rampant double dry hopped IPA seemed a good choice for the night. It was maybe a little sweet, but it was really fresh, and that was a 3.75. Slick Black Cadillac, absolute beast of a triple dry hopped IPA, thick and chewy, just at the right side of the too bitter. It's a 10% monster, and it was sliding down nicely. Oddly enough, 4.5 on Untapped. Whoa! So, sad point of my year. We laid my father-in-law to rest the day before I had this. He had a bit of a pagger by cancer. His favourite drink was Queen Margot whiskey and Rola Cola. So I was raising to each its own IPA to him that evening. It was really, really bloody tasty, and I'm sure he'd be absolutely incredulous at the price of the one tin. Here's to you, Smacky. A tinny what tells it as it is. Everything changing. Rather biscuity double dry hopped IPA. No, sorry, it's a double dry hop double IPA for sorry. Yeah, absolute peeve merchants over there at Overtone. Loving the kind of freezing dryness that kicked in after a while drinking it. It's like some kind of magic potion. You cannot go wrong with Overtone. Start of a catchphrase. And that was 4.25. The same old song. Double dry hopped IPA. It's a bit of a problem. It was sliding down the wrong side of subtle. It seemed a bit too delicate for my knackered taste bust to even register. It kind of bloomed as it warmed up. And yeah, I was a bit sad after drinking that, but I think I can be forgiven after the week we all had. That was a 3.25. If you cut me open, not only will my guts fall out, but they'll have Overtone written on them in crayon. Pure Magic was absolutely off the chisane. It was a double dry hopped double IPA. You open the can and the stank fills your nostrils, and then it rubs its gubbins all over your taste buds. Flavourful and lovely. And you'll never guess what I gave this. That's right, 4.5. So Overtone shacked up with Bleed From Within again for an IPA called Shrine. It's not a session IPA, but it's light as you like, and it wasn't lacking in flavour. Nice wee tang at the end of the swallow. That's what she said. Woo! that was a 3.75. (2022) saw Overtone's 4th birthday, and they pumped out 4 candles in celebration. It was a fresh and yeasty pale ale, a bit of a kick in the aftertaste, and all good. Happy birthday, fellas! You'll never guess what I gave this. 4.25. Got ya. It's a Star Trek Express. It's dangerous. Dangerous beer. It's a 10% double dry hopped triple IPA that tastes like a session IPA. Things may get nasty if you drink that. Oh, but ping my walnut, it was good. And I gave this 4.5. Perfect harmony. Oh, fresh and light, with a bitter aftertaste that reminds you that it's proper booze. And I'd actually remarked on this. One day I want to hear the story behind the Overtone circle artwork, which I covered at the start of the podcast. So that's that. Ticked off the list. And 3 guesses what I gave this. So the Caledonian Craft Beer Merchants Big Swally event back at the earlier part of 2023, they had a special Overtone double dry hop double IPA called Big Swally, sold out on tap in 45 minutes at the event, and I can see why. I managed to get a can. Well, I got 4 cans, I believe. Tastes like Kathleen Turner smeared in squash cherries, but twice as husky and tangy. I was glad I picked up a few. Proper job. 4.25. Overtone plus double IPA equals stuck in a daze. What else can I say about this one? It's quite grapefruity. I think if Overtone were to create a bearded beer blog triple IPA, I totally get the swirl logo tattooed on me. Fact. 4.5. Triple IPA named Shatter. Oh dear, fuck me, this was strong. It's like drinking porridge, and I might have ended up a bit pissed and suggestible. Oh, give that a solid 5 out of 5. So I had this weird Mama Jamma from Overtone. It said double dry hopped triple IPA, where the name would normally be, but on the back it said Starstruck Express. And it didn't have a style underneath it. Did someone get the sack for that? Raw dog straight from that one into a double dry hopped triple IPA. It's like, there's a taste like getting thumped in the bridge of the nose with a scaffolding plank. You know the feeling. Big Ouija, heck of a drink. Proper honking taste. Looked like a pint of fermented sheep piss. I'm in! 5 out of 5. We're on the home stretch now. You'll be glad to hear. Yeah, you can't even eat a tall, sexy blonde bit of fluff. And this New England IPA, Psychedelic Invocations, is a slinky bit of ass, no mistake. Waxed, ready to go in your mouth, leaving a fresh and lovely taste. I had that on tap at Collins Joint over the bridge, Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant. Yeah, should have had another, but no, I didn't. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Guess what I gave this? 4.5 on Untapped. Okay, fuck me. 10% triple IPA during the day. Yeah, game over. Yeah. Overtone were planning to kill me that day with Bridger Cloud. That was a solid 5. Somehow I ended up with 2 cans of this triple dry hopped IPA, lost in the thick of it. Yeah, not complaining too loudly about that. It was a lovely thick pour. Understated flavour and a strong nose, like a liquidised Roman. Good, but not great, I don't think. And I give that a 4. Okay, so this shit's thicker than cold custard, drier than a Jack D routine. The Overtone were not fucking around with all or nothing. Proper pant jizzing double dry hop double IPA here, folks. My lips went all dry when I was drinking it. It was a 4.5. Smashing double dry hopped IPA with Promise of the Night. Real bitterness to it. Almost like that stuff you put in your fingernail, stop you biting it. As dry as a camel's tadger. Very familiar taste, but kind of new tasting as well. That was a 4.75. Dawnwall Thunder. That was an absolutely sublime double dry hopped IPA. I should have stuck to it all that afternoon. I was out in the pub, but I didn't. Yeah, maybe I wouldn't have turned into a dribbling sort of drunken, obnoxious twat when I came home. It was a fun afternoon though at Collins Joint, and that was a 4.75. And the last one, I reviewed this in July. You would have heard that on the podcast. Mighty hoppy, mighty bitter, mighty sedimenty. That was the double IPA, 99 IBUs. I hate to go out on a low note. It's not really low. It tastes like the business end of a firework, but unfortunately it looked like someone had been playing with themselves in the bath for the piss. Yeah, really sedimenty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Marked it down for that. I didn't mark it down much. It was a great tasting bevy, and that was a solid 4. And there we have it. The first Bearded Beer Pod Brewery Special. This time on Overtone. What did you think? Did you enjoy it? Obviously, it's not going in depth in every single beer in the range, just the ones that I've reviewed over the last sort of 3-4 years. Let me know what you think. Drop me a line. Give me some dog's abuse. I'll do another poll at the end of this month on the Instagram pages and see what we can pick up for next time. But until then, thanks for listening. Do the usual stuff, like and subscribe and all that shit. Give me a wee review, that'd be awesome. And I'll see you next time. Cheery bye. By the way, Overtone haven't paid me for any of these reviews, good or bad. But if you'd like to send me some beer, drop me a line. We'll say no more.